Hello friends, welcome to another Ask a Bhante. So we have a question from Kala today. Does anyone else struggle with an overconsumption of Dhamma material? As someone who is used to consuming a lot of YouTube and educational content through the internet, I find that my mind will usually try and replace other subjects with Dhamma-related stuff like videos, research. Good, but it's still a form of entertainment, to be honest. There's some that's mostly used for motivation, checking in, deepening understanding, but there's also a lot that I'll consume just because when I should be practicing. So there's kind of two different issues here. There's the kind of YouTube addiction, and there's the overconsumption of Dhamma materials. What I would say is, if you're fairly new, and by new I mean like the first 5 years, if you're fairly new to Buddhism, then you're probably going to go through this kind of phase where you just want to listen to more Dhamma talks, listen more. And maybe you're kind of ingesting the teachings more than actually practicing the teachings. And that's okay in the beginning. But this is not, it should be very clearly understood that listening to the Dhamma is not the same as practicing the Dhamma. You need to listen to the Dhamma, right? You sometimes, this is why in the beginning it's good to, I say it's okay to do this because you kind of need to ingest a lot. It's like you're, just learning about something new, and there's a lot to learn. And so you have this desire to keep hearing, listening. What does this monk say? What does that monk say? What does this teacher say? Just listen. And that's fine, because you have to ingest that. But at a certain point, then you need to put it into practice. And when you need to put it into practice, that's when you need to put the books down, put the YouTube channels down and practice. Once you're done practicing, then you can go back and listen to more, and then you think, oh, okay, this is what happened in the practice, and then you're refining it. But yes, there is such a thing as too much reading Dhamma books, too much listening to Dhamma YouTubes. There's such a thing as too much, for sure. This is why you see, this is a mistake that people who don't understand the context and where Ajahn Chah's coming from. You see a quote from Ajahn Chah where he'll say, the only book worth reading is the human heart. Or he'll say, put down your books, right? Ajahn Chah is not saying, don't study. Ajahn Chah is saying this towards this inclination, especially a Buddhist convert inclination, to kind of be attached to reading all kinds of Dhamma books. Like being a Dhamma consumer. Look, this new book from such and such. I have to read this new book from such and such. No, you probably don't, to be honest with you. You probably don't. It's so I understand where Ajahn Chah's coming from, because honestly, I haven't read 99% of the Buddhist books out there, including most of the most famous ones. I've read one or two from Bhante Ji, one or two from Ajahn Brahm, but mostly I've been sutta related, learning the suttas. But I've met many people who are read hundreds of Dhamma books. And I wonder, well, what'd they get out of it? Doesn't look like they're getting out of it much in this life. Now, if there's nothing, there's nothing bad about that per se. Maybe you need a couple lifetimes where all you do is listen before you're able to really put it into practice. Maybe that's the case. But in general, you want to there's a time for study and listening, and there's a time for practice. So if that study and listening is taking the place of practicing or getting in the way of practicing, not good. You need to have a balance, right? As I did a whole retreat on this actually last year, the suttas and the teachings are a framework for practice. You listen to you read the suttas and you understand the suttas and the teachings, and then when you practice, you have experiences, and then you can understand, oh, okay, this is that, I understand this is what the Buddha's talking about, etc. And so that's the purpose of it. So you have to reflect on, this is the purpose. Now the second aspect of this question is this kind of like YouTube addiction. And hey, I know it. Even as a monk, it's like, me watching a YouTube video, that's not against being a monk. I mean, if it's like entertainment, it's a breaks the rule. But if it's just educational, I could watch YouTube videos all day about history and how to make carpentry such and such and things like that. All the various things I had to do at Bhavana, and like plumbing or this or that. And I was like, okay, let me look up this YouTube video to figure out what the heck I'm doing, right? There's lots of, I could even just spend, half a day watching YouTube videos. And that's, it's bad enough for a layperson, but for a monk, it's even worse, because it's like, that's really wasting time in a way, right? So it's this inclination to thinking that you're getting out of it more than you actually are for the time you're putting in, right? Your time is valuable. What's more valuable? Listening to YouTube videos or doing something, right? Doing walking meditation, doing sitting, going out and doing good deeds in the world, these kind of things. What's more valuable? And that's the important thing. What's more valuable? Reflecting on that. Do I really need to sit and listen to an hour of YouTube? Probably not. I mean, if you're driving or doing work or whatever, you want to listen to a Dhamma talk, that's one thing. But paying attention to that kind of, it's an easy trick in a way. It's like a very easy, it's an easy thing to make you feel like you're getting something out of it. And you might be getting something out of it. But are you getting out what you're putting in? And by putting in, I mean your time. You could be doing things that are much more productive. I mean not only just in like lay life production, but I mean Dhamma productive as well. So let me look at this question here, see if I missed any aspect. What I would say, you say it's still a form of entertainment. I wouldn't necessarily say it's entertainment per se. I would say it's a distraction, right? You could say entertainment, but even listening to a Dhamma talk is not necessarily entertainment, but it can be a distraction. This is why, like at Bhavana Society, when we would do retreats, I would tell people that not even reading the suttas is allowed during this retreat. Why? Because reading the suttas can be a distraction. You don't want to meditate. Oh, I'll go read the suttas. Right? You want you're in pain. Oh, I'll go read the suttas. Right? It's like using the suttas as distraction away from what you're experiencing. That's not good. Right? When you're in a retreat, that's not a good thing. So even using the suttas can be a distraction. Right? This is something that is understood. Still, again, listening to Dhamma talks and things like that, much more skillful than many other things you could be doing. But questioning, is this worth my time? Is this valuing the time that I'm putting into it? Am I getting out what I'm putting into it? Could I be doing something better? I like practicing. And I think that's it. I think that's about it I have to say. Hopefully I covered as much of your question as possible, Kala. And friends, if you have any questions for me or any questions for yourself, or you think that might be beneficial for others, post them down in the comments below, and I'll get to them as I can. All right, friends, Sukhi Hotu. Practice well and be well.